How important is it for Proverity to have identified that one target group of sales engineers as your absolute core customers, core users, I should say? And can you use that for like marketing, for finding it easier to reach those folks? How does that work for Proverity?
Yeah, so I've been lucky enough to have worked with some great companies and great leaders. Early stage startups, it's the same movie and template that works every time, which is to stay focused. The second you start bouncing around and a lot of it sometimes is investor driven. You need a bigger TAM. You need to go after a bigger market, and it's hard to push back on people who've invested in your company, but sometimes you have to. And sometimes you have to say, "Look, let us win this market for the next 2 to 3 years. We're going to dominate this market. We have the best product, best market fit." So to answer your question, finding that market fit early, which we knowing who to sell to, who to focus the message on, who to outreach to, it's just I see it as the only way to go forward in this world where there's a new AI product every day that's coming out. If you start jumping around, "Oh, we can talk to that person and that," you're just gonna get spun up, and you can't be great at anything, and you need as an early stage startup, you've gotta be great at something, and that's what we're really out to create at Proverity.
Yeah, to get that 10x advantage, you have to know what to focus on, right? So, uh, excellent. Yeah, you just mentioned the difference between early stage and mid stage. So, a lot of your career has been scaling Series B style companies, right? And now you joined as CRO at Proverity 9 months ago, I believe, and then were promoted to CEO a few months later, right? So, how is being CEO of a more early stage company still different from your experience before?
Yeah, it's different. It's, um, it's funny too where, you look at a Series B, Series C, and people still call you a startup, which is fair. There's a lot of process in place, and there's good, bad, and ugly. We've got a product, there's usually product market fit, that's how you've raised money. But if you don't have a great leader or someone who recognizes how it's time to scale, the things you did early on that weren't scalable are still not at Series B and C, and you spend a lot of time trying to like, "Guys, we gotta put process in. We've gotta make this a company that we can get over $100,000,000 and see where it goes." What we're focused on right now is putting out the best product we can for a niche group, right, to absolute dominate this stage of the sales cycle and get the customers on board and learn from them, and you're constantly taking in their feedback and making the product better. Not that you don't do that later on, but it's different. Right now, it's intimate. And I have a CEO buddy of mine who I've worked with for a long time, and I was asking him, "Hey, look, I'm a new CEO here. I've been a CRO forever." And I go, "Explain the differences," because he came from he was chief product officer before he went over, and he said, "Let me put it this way. Someone explained to me or someone famous that being a CEO every day can sometimes feel like eating glass." And I said, "You know what? I understand that at the stage we're at, you're just dealing with every little issue across the whole company. It's also kind of fun. It's the cool part. You're just involved in a lot of stuff. And then as we grow and as we scale, we'll put in processes and delegate. But right now, it's all hands on deck. Everyone's doing everything."